This is WWE Hall of Famer Tito Santana, and you are listening to Houston Wrestling Radio. Arriba!
This is Brian Williams, the right tackle for your Houston Texans, and you're listening to Houston Wrestling Radio.
Yo, this is Hernandez from TNA, and you're listening to Houston Wrestling Radio.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 47th edition of Houston Wrestling Radio. This is Abel.
This is Travis.
This is Chris.
Hey, we pulled it off finally. No hiccups in the road. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, in sync.
Almost.
Like a well-oiled machine. Anyway, thank you for listening, whether you're listening on our webpage, HoustonWrestlingRadio.com, or you're listening to us on Stitcher Radio app on the go, or if you downloaded us off of iTunes and you have us on your Apple device, whatever it may be, or hey, we also are on the YouTubes, so we had some pretty interesting stuff going on with the YouTubes this week, right, Trav?
Yeah, I went on an interview binge today, and I took out all the interviews from our past shows, and I just load them up just as single files on the YouTube page.
Yeah,
so
cool.
If you just want to check out some of the old interviews we've done, and instead of checking out the long shows, then there you
go. Whose interviews so far do you have up?
Oh, well, we did our Queen Charmel interview.
Yeah, that was our first.
Mm-hmm, yes. ACH, Jay Lethal, Scott Steiner, and then the ones we did these past couple weeks, Hernandez and
Chico.
Yeah, Chico. Yes.
Tito Santana. Yeah, cool. Well, so that's pretty awesome. I guess we'll try to, keep doing that. We'll have the interview on the podcast and we'll have that up for, a couple of weeks or so, maybe, a month or whatever. And whenever, Travis gets the wild hair up his ass to, put it on as a single file on YouTube, well, we'll put it on there. So
another 6 months from now.
Yeah. But speaking of interviews, we have another interview that we got coming up for you in this show today.
I'll get around to that in about 6 months. Too.
Yeah, probably another 6 months. Yeah.
No rush.
Buff Bagwell.
Buff the stuff, huh?
Yes. That's pretty cool. I think that's a pretty good get. He was also announced as being another guest at the Clutch City Productions SuperShow. So we're gonna get to meet him out there. And again, the Clutch City guys hooked us up with the interview. So thank you so much. And we'll be talking a little bit more about the Clutch City Productions show later on in the podcast here. This is our go home show before the big convention. So it's this weekend. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty excited. But we'll talk a little bit more about that later. We have some wrestling talk to get to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we had got some stuff from TNA, got some stuff from WWE, and even some stuff from NXT.
Yeah. So. Chris says, man, I mean, what else do you want to talk about?
Chris wants to still talk about the VMAs.
Hell no, I don't.
He can't. He can't get that image of Miley Cyrus out of his head.
Oh my god.
That was quite.
I had to use the Urban Dictionary to figure out half of the things that she was doing on that show. The only shiny moment was watching the wrestling meme of CM Punk, his head on Robin Thicke, with Miley Cyrus bent over in front of him with that not impressed look.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Other than that, whoa.
Did it give you the Ghiblis?
Ugh, in all the wrong places.
All right. Well, enough of that. Let's talk about some wrestling here. Are we going to start with WWE or TNA this week?
TNA.
TNA? All right. TNA. Let's talk a little bit about that. We had Hardcore Justice Part 2 this past week. Mm. And this is when we were supposed to have the big 5-on-5 with Aces and H versus the Main Event Mafia, and whoever loses, they get, shit canned. But Kurt Angle, because of all the stuff that went on with him and the DUI and getting into rehab and whatnot, made it 4-on-5. And part of the whole show this week and last week was Main Event Mafia trying to find a fifth member. And we found a fifth member. And it was none other than the phenomenal AJ Styles. And I say the phenomenal AJ Styles because he is no longer the lone wolf. It's actual phenomenal AJ Styles. Like, he came out with the new music, with the vest and the sweater and all that, looking all emo, and then he tore off the vest, tore off the sweater, his old school music hit, and then, today's like, oh my god, it's the phenomenal, he's back, so hey, And that's exactly how he sound. But we have Phenomenal back. Chris, what do you think about this?
Sucks.
Why does it suck, Chris?
Elaborate, sir.
One of the few compliments that we were giving TNA about doing their slow burns right, and they just went ahead and ruined it.
Yeah.
I understand why they ruined it.
Well, why is that?
His contract is up in a couple of weeks, and apparently they haven't come to an agreement yet, which would make perfect sense if you want to get somebody legitimately out of a company and get them out storyline-wise correctly.
You would have had him lose a match.
Have him lose in that match.
But guess what? He didn't lose that match.
Because he still has some time left.
So, if they still had some time left, why did they go ahead and pull the trigger on getting rid of emo loner AJ? You know, I mean,
storyline wise, it makes no effing sense.
No sense. You know, I have not been the biggest fan of this new AJ. We've talked about this on the show, Chris. You've been trying to convince me that the new AJ.
And you were slowly getting convinced.
This
was the 1 week.
You were halfway up the hill, and all of a sudden you just tumbled all the way back.
Yeah. All of a sudden, bam! Hey, I got Phenomenal back. Why not?
This was the 1 week. Abel was going to say, you know what?
You know what? I'm finally going to get behind this. Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? I finally want him gone.
You want him gone from TNA?
You don't want him resign?
Yeah. He's been through so much shit already in that company, as far as his storylines and gimmicks and half-ass gimmicks and got nowhere gimmicks and being in the same position he's always been. I think I'm done. I'm ready for him to get out of there.
You think there's nowhere else for him to go?
He could always have fun in Japan. Ring of Honor will be a good home. I don't want him back in TNA. He's done. I was actually starting to get behind the new character. It was something different. The year-long storyline, everything that built up, and now you're gonna just
literally flip the switch, just like that.
Literally flip the switch
for no apparent reason.
Storyline wise,
that's where I definitely have the problem. Yes, while I wasn't the biggest fan of the new quote unquote AJ, I really did not like the fact that they just dropped the ball, switched it for no reason, out of the blue, storyline wise, okay? And even not storyline wise, that's still just all of our suspicions as to, you know, why they did it because of his contract coming up, but that's not confirmed.
But that shouldn't affect storyline on TV.
Right. And if they weren't going to have him lose anyway, then why even go that route? Right. Like, at the time when they decided that he was going to be in the match, they also decided whether or not he would lose or not. So that whole argument of, well, his contract's up, so this would be an easy way to write him out. Well, if they were going to write him out, they would have had him lose and actually write him out, but they didn't do that. So why change him to Phenomenal, you know, at that point in time? I don't think they needed to do it. And it just annoys me storyline-wise, even though I wasn't fully behind the character. So, I don't know. I think it was just a bad move in general for TNA, especially in the short term. But in the long term, maybe it's good to have Phenomenal back. I don't know, because I'm just a phenomenal AJ Mark.
But we didn't get to see where that character was ultimately going to end up as.
The loner Mark?
Yeah.
The payoff.
Yeah, there's no payoff for it.
It's a payoff that's lost, definitely. I'm not arguing that, but maybe in the long run, having Phenomenal back will be good. Like 2 or 3 years down the line, once we already forgotten about this shitty storyline, once we have the Phenomenal AJ Styles back.
But to do what, though?
Is it safe to say that now you can't go back?
To the loner?
Yeah.
No, you can't do it now.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's...
When he comes out and
that train's gone.
Yeah, at the moment that his music changed and he flipped the hood off and everything and he was doing the poses and everything, the moment he did that character is dead and gone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Which it's a shame too, because, you know, I was digging the whole package, because it wasn't just him growing his hair out and growing a beard, whatever. It was, he changed his style. He got a little bit more, I guess, like buffer or whatever, you know. He
got a little more matte-based.
Yeah, it wasn't just high-flying, what do you say, flippy-dippy stuff. It was just, it changed everything. So, to lose all that credibility and character change and the payoff we're not going to get, it totally sucks. And it's reasons like this where people are starting to doubt the future of TNA in general. You know, they do stuff like this. You know, what are you going to do?
Yeah. And again, I'm going to go back to the whole storyline behind all this. We don't really know why AJ kayfabe-wise even join the main event Mafia? And are we going to get an explanation? I hope so next week. But what if we don't get an explanation for that? What if it's just like, okay, AJ's in the main event Mafia now, and that's it? Like, who convinced him? Did Sting convince him? Did Joe convince him? Like, what made him decide that, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and join these guys. I'm going to go ahead and just be phenomenal again. Like,
that's the part that bothers me the most. It's one thing if you would have had the Lone Wolf Rebel, even if it's a one-night thing or if it's just, okay, for the greater good of the company, I'm going to just do what I do, but beside these 4 other guys. He didn't have to necessarily ditch the whole Lone Wolf gimmick and all of a sudden just go back to his. Yeah. That's what's sticking me the most in my craw. That. Whatever a craw is, that's where it's sticking me the most.
It's a pretty big crawl.
Yeah, you want to see the ruler?
It hurts.
Break out the ruler? Yeah, easy, big fella. Yeah. Sons of bitches. That's the part that ruined it for me. Like, you didn't have to ditch the whole gimmick. You could have kept on going with that.
He could have just walked out to the entrance to the ring and just stayed at the tag area and just stood there.
And he could have even confused the main event Mafia. Like, the main event Mafia could have been like,
exactly.
what?
Like, wait, I don't know. Like, we got him here. I don't know if I want to tag him though.
Yeah.
That like build more suspense during the match, not just blow your load all of a sudden 5 seconds into the ramp, you just start stripping. That's Lady Gaga performance. Just go into like 14 different costumes. He just rips the thing off like, AJ's back, chills. No. Like, what the?
He rips his beard off.
I know, Fuck, man.
All that long hair was a wig. Yeah, he just tosses it aside. All right, let's stop beating this dead horse because it's done.
TNA did.
Yeah, it's done. Let's move on. Let's see what they're going to have for us next week.
Then?
No. We're still talking about TNA.
Oh, but I mean, we're talking about dead horse. I figured.
Let's move on to who actually did get the pin in that match. Good old Devon.
Yep.
He took the pin, and now Devon is quote unquote fired. Kayfabe fired anyway. I don't know if he's actually fired.
Is that legit? I don't know.
Well, I mean, that was the week that you've had for the last 3 weeks, saying that, whoever takes this pin, it's because part of budget cuts and all that. Yeah, I get it. But, I mean, I
still want to know a definitive answer. I haven't heard yes or no yet.
Well, I think that's part of this thing here. I mean, is the Aces and Eights are the Aces and Eights gonna find a roundabout way to get him reinstated and do some shenanigans, or is this going to be like, well, I'm starting to get old, I want to retire, just, have me be in a retirement. Yeah, just write me out. Or is this part of budget cuts? Hey, we got to fire somebody else, so let's get rid of Devon,
Well, it's interesting in that match, if you want to go back to storyline-wise, I believe it was AJ that got the pin on him, right? Styles Clash?
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
Mm-hmm. It wasn't the very best Styles Clash either.
He hasn't done it in a while, so...
Yeah.
But anyway, the point I was trying to make is it was AJ that actually pinned Devon. Devon is the tag team partner of Bully Ray, or, and I don't know if because of him getting rid of Devon, if that's going to make Bully go after AJ, and that's going to be a new feud.
Bully versus AJ.
Yeah.
Could be, and that could be a top building type of feud. AJ... The whole thing about AJ being the loner guy is that, oh man, he's not going to join us in the fight with Aces and Eights, and he was the one guy that could have turned it all around, and blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe now he is the guy that will turn it all around and be the guy to defeat the Aces and Eights and finally get rid of that whole NWO-like storyline, I don't know, but we'll see. But either way, Devon's gone. How gone is he?
Does it really matter?
Not really.
Well, good point. I mean, all it does is just weaken the Aces and Eights a little bit more. And we've said from the get-go, the Aces and Eights, in order to not go the way of NWO, where they just get out of control, they need to lose.
It needs to be a limited time story. They have to have an end to it.
Yeah.
And I think that was the one issue with WCW and NWO. They didn't have an end to the storyline. They just, okay.
Is this one step closer to the end of the Aces and Eights?
Sure. I don't know. That's TNA. I don't know.
Okay.
AJ's wasn't the only contract that's hasn't been renewed. I also heard Anderson.
Anderson, really?
Yeah, they're in negotiation. They're in negotiation. Look at the internet.
Okay.
I didn't know it either. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, Anderson's another guy that they're negotiating with. So, but they haven't come to a conclusion yet.
Conclusion.
Oh, we'll know this Thursday if he gets eliminated.
Yeah. Yeah, if they have another loser leaves town type match, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. That's another potential big name for TNA.
Yeah.
So.
All right. We had a bit of a return to TV for TNA. Miss Tessmacher. We hadn't seen her in a while, and she showed up.
Oh my god.
Tessmacher is now with Bully. I guess she's in the Aces and Eights.
I think it's safe to say.
Yeah,
yes.
safe to say. I don't know, Chris. What'd you think about all that?
Wake up, Chris. Wake up.
That's it. Oh my god. For whatever crap we give TNA, the fact that they're not PG, the fact that they're edgy, this was one moment where I think it really sent the message home about how much of an asshole Bully was in his marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the exclamation point was dotted perfectly with Brooke coming out and literally sucking the ring off of Bully's finger and spitting it out on the ground. That was awesome. That was my highlight of the show, of TNA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Pretty
graphic.
You had the slobber coming off.
Yeah, all the slobber coming off of the finger too. Oh, híjole.
Chris, come back here. Where are you going?
Hey, Chris, what are you doing?
What do you mean, where am I going? I've done it twice since I sat here.
Clean up on aisle 4.
And it's bleeding over to 5, 6, and 7.
Oh, jeez.
You're cleaning that shit up, man.
Chris, Miss Tessmacher is going to be there this weekend at the Clutch City Productions SuperShow.
I'll make sure to wear my running ring. That's all I got to say about
I
that.
guess so. Giggity, giggity. All right.
One thing I didn't want to say about Bully and Aces and Eights. You notice at the end, when they were all sitting at the entrance area,
Yeah.
it was Bully, Tito, and Brooke.
Yeah.
Devon's gone. There's a couple other guys. We got Briscoe and all them. Do you think they're kind of phasing out that first part of Aces and Eights, and now it's just going to be Bully and maybe
Tito and Brooke?
maybe?
Man, the hell with Tito, too.
It just seems like they were going to be like Bully's going to have, especially earlier they had that little backstage thing with Anderson, and he was talking about if you're more dependable, this and that. And I just think that's maybe they're going to get rid of that segment of the Aces and Eights, and this is going to be Bully and.
Well, hopefully. We just said this a couple of minutes ago. This storyline needs an ending. Doesn't necessarily need to end next week, but they need to start working towards an ending for the storyline. So, maybe, hopefully, why not?
Here's the part where I'm worried TNA doesn't learn its lesson. If this needs to end soon, then there's no reason for them to have any new members. Which then brings us back to the whole point of what the hell's the point of Tito and Rampage being there. Tito pretty much just explained on his promo that, you think just because we're in TNA that I'm gonna forget about our fight? No, we're having our fight in November on pay-per-view.
But that's all he said in that promo.
And that's all he said in the promo. Yeah. So what? Number one, if this Ace and Ace storyline's ending soon, why do they need to add more people? And number two, God damn, get rid of Tito. Get rid of Tito on Rampage already, because I already know we can already tell where this is going, and if that's the whole point, then fuck it. At least put EY in a match. I'd rather see them use up that time for something else than to use it up on those two, if that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, especially if this isn't going to be a benefit to TNA or wrestling in general. If this is just going to be something to help them have a commercial, pretty much, for their fight.
I swear to God, if Roller Jam comes on at their Impact next week, I'm done with the product.
What's wrong with Roller Jam? Alright.
Okay, is that it for that?
I think that's it for TNA talk, unless there's anything else you guys want to add. Alright, so then let's go ahead and talk about WWE then.
Alright.
Please.
Yes. You sound so thrilled, Chris.
Man, what are we going to talk about other than WB when TNA actually closes?
WCW.
Or NXT.
Well, let's start with NXT then, since you just mentioned it.
Alright, F it. Let's talk about NXT. We finally got around to watching NXT for the first time in quite a long time, basically because of all the buzz going around on the internet about this Sami Zayn versus Antonio Cesaro match. People were calling for it to be a match of the year candidate, and it was the best thing since sliced bread or whatever. So we sat down and we watched it, and I gotta admit that match was damn good. I thought that there was, some crazy spots in there, things that we have never seen before in all their years of wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's just an intensity from both of the competitors that just we don't normally see. I mean, we haven't seen Sami Zayn come up to the main roster, but back, whenever he was, in ROH, we saw it from time to time, especially in, all the stuff that he did with Kevin Steen and the wars that they had. So him, but I'm really talking more about Cesaro. Cesaro has always been a little muted, especially, I don't know, the last year or so, ever since they dropped the whole United States of Antonio gimmick. He's been kind of muted. But this match, man, he just really brought the intensity.
Right.
Set aside the fact that they were doing moves that we haven't seen before. Just the intensity level that he was doing the moves in elevated that match to heights that, made it pretty damn good. I don't know if I'm willing to say match of the year candidate.
Hell no, man. What are you drinking?
Reason being, I think I have different reasons than you do, Chris. But I'll let you get to your reasons here. My reason why I wouldn't want to say this match of the week candidate is simply because whenever we talk about match of the week, or even match of the year, rather, we're usually talking about main roster WWE and TNA stuff. If we wanted to include NXT and ROH and things that, don't happen on regular TV, then there's just so many effing matches out there that are great and consistently great. If we were to take in stuff from Japan, our minds would be blown.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't want to include this, only because of that reason alone, because it's on NXT.
But you would count it as...
Hey, if we would have counted Cesaro O'Brien, which we did from Raw, then I don't see why we can't include this match. If we were counting NXT matches, I would. Now, Chris, you disagree. You say that you don't think that this is match of the year worthy. Why is that?
I'm just trying to be objective and subjective to it. As cool as that was, being the first time, I kind of related to one of the main event matches we had on Raw, which was Bryan against Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
It's one thing to just have your ROH heart on because it's ROH guys doing ROH things on WWE television. Yeah. So having that in the back of your head, that kind of already influences your judgment before anything even happens. Mm-hmm. We had talked about how before when we were watching the match, before the camera feed went off, the fans were already chanting "Match of the Year." Because it's obvious, like the crowd was doing the El Generico Ole Ole chant. Congratulations, you saw wrestling 2 years ago. You deserve a cookie. Like that, just because you have that in your brain doesn't automatically mean, this is going to be match of the millennia before like the first wrist lock is done. Right. So in that view, the match, we had a 30-second commercial break. The match really wasn't that long. Mm-hmm. There could have been a lot more that could have been added to it. There could have been more context as to why that match was happening. Then again, I don't watch NXT. That was my first NXT match on the internet from the Full Sail setting that I've seen. Mm-hmm. And as much as I liked everything, I'm just not going to name the first match I see from this new company that I'm watching, or new brand, and I'm not going to just say the first thing I see. Oh my God, match of the day! I can't.
If you take out the fact that this is the first time that you've seen an NXT match, let's pretend this happened on SmackDown. Okay, that match on SmackDown, given that it had its proper booking or whatever, because from what I understood from hearing the announcers that they have a feud going or whatever, so they book a 2 out of 3 match. It's on SmackDown. There was some backstory to it. All that being said, would you even consider it maybe being that good of a match? Or
match of the year? No.
Why not?
Because if you put it on that stage, there's a whole lot more stuff that's happened on pay-per-views, Raw, SmackDown. That I would not put this anywhere near Bryan Cesaro. I wouldn't put this anywhere near Cena Bryan. I wouldn't put this anywhere near any of the other match of the year.
Punk
Lesnar. I wouldn't. Punk Lesnar. This stuff. Like I wouldn't even bat an eye to it.
Yeah.
It would be my match of the week
Okay.
if that was in our discussion for that.
Right.
But there's just so much more out there.
Yeah, I really do think that it was a really, really good match, and I would very much so disagree with you, other than the fact that I'm catching it on a technicality on the fact that it's on NXT. If it wasn't on NXT and it was on SmackDown, I would say, hands down, this is a Match of the Year candidate. But Trav, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since you didn't ask what I thought of the match.
Trav, what do you think of the match?
Jerks.
Trav, what'd you think of that?
Oh, thank you, Chris. Watching the match, I went in there. Unfortunately, I already read the reports and about how everybody was already saying his Match of the Year candidate. So I had that in the back of my head as the high expectations of watching this match.
Yeah.
So knowing that, I had more expectations of saying, okay, this is better be a damn good match, and everybody's calling it Match of the Year. So, then I saw that match. But other than that, this knowing that everybody was already calling Match of the Year, I had the high expectations of a really good match, which I would say it would be Match of the Week. But Match of the Year, no. From what I saw, no, not Match of the Year.
Okay.
But it was a damn good match. I would say it as a candidate for Match of the Week. I know it's not part of the critique we normally do, but fuck it. It's WWE product. It's on Hulu. You can watch it.
Okay.
So,
I would love to see main event replaced by this if this is the product that
absolutely.
they put out every week.
Yeah, put NXT on TV and get rid of main event. Main event is already irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is one technicality or not technicality. What am I saying?
Let me beat you to the punch.
Okay.
Whenever a crowd is chanting best match of the year, that ruins it for me. Like I don't need 55 people in the crowd telling me this is the best. Let me figure it out on my own.
Exactly. That's where
it sets expectations too high.
What I was going to say is one criticism that I have in the match is the fact that if you're going to have and you're going to book a 2 out of 3 falls, don't have the first fall happen within the first 30 seconds of the match. Then it negates the whole idea of having 2 out of 3 falls. If you're going to have a fall, boom, right at the beginning.
That's TNA booking.
I mean, that's my one nit to pick on this match.
Here's my rebuttal to that. If you were listening to the commentary, which by the way, Alex Riley did a pretty decent job on commentary in that match.
He did a pretty decent job on SmackDown when he did a few
weeks ago.
When he started saying, "Man, this would be what a coup for
Sami Zayn.
For Sami Zayn, if he were to be able to knock off Antonio Cesaro in a 2 out of 3 falls 2-0. Mm-hmm. Have we ever gotten a 2 out of 3 falls that was ended 2-0?
Not that I've ever seen.
And to have Sami Zayn knock the dude out in the first 30 seconds with that moonsault and then that running kick to the face, dude, they were painting a pretty good picture there. So even though it's not all the time that out of the 2 out of 3 falls match, one fall gets determined in the first minute and a half or a minute.
See, the match
they built it up to where, you know what, there's a reason why they did that, and it got my attention because this guy, if he could do all that, if he could beat this dude in 30 seconds, he got my attention.
Yeah, technically,
especially Cesaro.
Technically, he pinned Cesaro in 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I mean that's
okay. Yeah. You got me. I'm watching. So that was a good way to get my attention.
The beginning of the match was really good. The end of the match was awesome. The middle of the match kind of lagged a little bit for me. So.
Especially leading up to the second fall.
Yeah.
After the second fall, when it was 1-1, that's when business really picked up, and we had all those kind of it was during that time frame that we had that delayed pop-up European uppercut where Cesaro just held Sami Zayn for solid 3 seconds, and then pushed him up off to do the that was ridiculous, and the suplex from outside of the ring while Cesaro was standing on the rope.
Oh my god,
that was crazy.
He had higher elevation than his opponent, and that's what made it impressive.
He wasn't standing on solid ground.
He was already on the worst position to do it, and that took straight up back.
That was all muscle, right?
That's all strength.
Yeah.
That's all core muscles. Tight stomach muscles.
Yeah, that was very impressive on his behalf.
The back body drop counter into the Code Red or the Canadian Destroyer, whatever you want to call what that was.
Yeah.
That counter that Sami Zayn did.
That was sick.
And the flying DDT when he went through between the turnbuckle and the post.
Yeah.
Flew through it, grabbed him, corkscrewed him around, and dropped that DDT on him. That visual
Those 4 spots and those 4 moves right there are what makes me want to say that it would be a match of the week candidate if it was on regular WWE TV. Just those 4 moves, because those 4
spots would look beautiful in front of 20,000 people.
Yes, and those 4 spots we haven't seen before on any other WWE product ever. I've never seen any 4 of those moves. So if there's a time when I see 1 move that I haven't seen before, I'm pretty impressed. But this one had 4. That's why I'm willing to argue, had this been on something other than NXT, I would say match of the year. You know, but I'm sticking to my guns on the fact that, you know, I don't want to include everything for match of the year, match of the week candidates, but that's the only reason. So I disagree with you when you say that you don't want it on there, but whatever. Woo!
Wow, we talked a long time for this match.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So
that should say something.
So back to, does that say how good that match was, or does that say about how bad Raw was?
You know, Raw wasn't that bad, honestly. I thought this was a pretty darn good episode of Raw. It wasn't the best, not the best that's been in the last month or 2, but it's still pretty solid. Like, there was 3 or 4 things that happened that I was pretty happy with. And you know what, we could get to some of those. Let's start first off with, you know, the big storyline going down. Triple H, Orton, Shield, Bryan, all that good stuff. Let's start off with that. I do want to automatically right off the bat say that there's another match of the week candidate right there. You alluded to it about the, you know, ROH, you know, part of you there. Bryan versus Rollins, match of the week candidate. I want to say that's one right there, man.
Is that your pick?
You know what? That might be my pick.
Okay.
But I know that we have a couple of other match of the week candidates.
This is a hard week for match of the week for me.
Why is that?
Well, we haven't mentioned about the other one that I was going to say is a match of the week candidate, which I might pick as my match of the week, actually.
Well, why don't you go ahead and throw it out?
I'm going to say Orton versus Christian.
Okay.
That's mine, too.
They picked up where they left off from a couple years ago with a series of matches, and it was just... It wasn't the flashiest, it wasn't the most intense, but it was just... You could see, like, the story they were telling. I mean, they were beating the shit out of each other, you know. Christian was selling it, you know, perfectly. You know, like, he was getting worn out by trying to beat Orton. You know, and Orton was, he had to resort, thank you. He had to resort to poking the eye behind the ref.
I love the poke in the eye. That's so awesome.
Hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right?
Exactly.
So, but that's, I think the reasons that I just said, I think that's why I want to call that as a match of the week.
Okay, I want to say that is a match of the week candidate, but that's not my pick for match of the week. But it's definitely a candidate, definitely good. I love the fact that it ended with an eye poke. I think that was so old school. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. It was so old school that it worked.
It ended with the RKO, but the setup was the eye poke.
Yeah.
Christian sold it like nuclear for Holocaust, which is awesome. And Christian, another guy that would fall into that category where if Stephanie would tell Daniel Bryan, you're not an A, but you're a solid B+, that's Christian in a nutshell. You know, almost every match that Christian and Orton have had, it's like Christian's like this close to beating him, this close, and every time Christian gets closer and closer, Orton finds a different way. And this has been going on since the feud's been happening.
Exactly.
Christian finds a way to get that much closer, and then right when he gets there, Orton finds a way to shut him out. And this one, just like you said, he picked up right where they left off, like they never missed a beat. Injury, drug suspension from the other side, whatever. They went back on it, and it was smooth. It was awesome.
Those two have such awesome chemistry, and it's been a chemistry that has been natural from the get-go, but it's also a chemistry that's been learned and nurtured and built. That's been going, like you said, since the last 2 or 3 years.
It's not over the top. It's not like talked about being a big feud, but they have history.
Yeah,
and not only that, they have consistency.
Yes,
that's the key word. Every match that those two have together, you know what you're going to get. You're not going to be disappointed, and it just goes. And that's, to me, I think that was one of my biggest letdowns from SummerSlam, other than the emotional attachment to Bryan, because Christian with the world title on SmackDown, they could have done so much with that.
Yeah.
You know, as good of matches as Christian has had with everybody, even his match with Sandow on SmackDown before the building up to SummerSlam, that could have been a hell of a good 2-3 month feud if Sandow would have cashed in down the road, you know, or set up to a Royal Rumble match, because you know Royal Rumbles, they tend to throw out new matches there because
Right.
you're not ordering the matches
You're
for
ordering
the
for-
titles.
right,
You're
yeah.
ordering it for the Rumble.
Yeah.
So that's when you get Orton Hardy, or that's when you get title matches that you normally wouldn't get on any other pay-per-view. And Sandow Christian would have been flawless on
And you know what we haven't
Royal
gotten
Rumble.
since Christian's been back? We got a little bit, but not as much before. Christian on the mic. You know, being a smartass,
Yeah.
promo, doing that against Sandow. Oh God, it's
His promo against Orton, where
yes.
he tells Orton, I see Triple H likes messing with sledgehammers now. Now he just found himself another tool.
oh
Yeah,
yes.
that was really good.
Come
that was
on.
old. That was old Christian right there.
Yeah,
was
that's
really good.
Captain Charisma right there.
Yeah.
Coming back.
That was a little bit of Christian Cage right there.
Yes.
Yeah. Man, you know, for all of the stuff, all the crap that we give TNA, TNA really does know how to utilize some of the ex-WWE talent and tries to, you know, make them into more than what they were. And in some instances, I think Christian was even better in TNA than what he is in WWE.
You know why? Because at the time that Christian left the WWE,
He was on fire.
he could have been that guy. That was he wound up leaving when they had that triple threat main event at SummerSlam, which was Cena, Jericho, Christian. I remember Madison Square Garden, Christian in the ring with Vince McMahon, making fun of John Cena in the white boy rapper gimmick, and everyone in New York was chanting his name. Mm-hmm. If you get over, Tito Santana, you get over New York, you get over anywhere.
Yeah.
And Christian was a made man, and that was one capitalization that WWE failed on. That was his prime to do it. That was the time to do it. And when they did it, TNA picked up the ball right where WWE dropped it.
They ran with it.
And as soon as Christian showed up and they knew that he was the goods, title.
Yeah.
And they gave him a real healthy run.
They did.
Not only that, he never got pinned for the belt at TNA.
That's true.
He never got pinned for the belt. He never really technically lost it.
Yeah.
So it just showed what kind of fate that the company would have had for him at a time, that they would actually give him a good run.
So next week, when Vince buys out TNA, they could just say, well, Christian's the uncrowned champion, and just hand it
And
to
then
TNA.
he has even more reason to have
One more match. Oh boy. Okay. Let's get back to talking about Triple H, Orton, and all that stuff. Triple H, Orton, they have a little opening montage, or well, not montage, whatever. Opening segment. There you go. Thank you. And you know, it was kind of typical Orton and Triple H. It did fall a little flat. The big thing was the SUV, the Escalade. Right when that thing came out, I knew the minute that they said, hey, I got you a car, I was like, oh, great. We're going to have a car that's going to be destroyed by the end of the night. You know, every time somebody gets a vehicle or someone's showing off their vehicle, that vehicle gets towed up. And that's exactly what happened. Although
Orton's 0-2 on the vehicles.
he is. No, 0-3.
The tour bus?
The tour bus, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the tour bus.
Tour bus. I was a tad bit disappointed with what happened to the Yesclade.
That right there.
Okay.
That was the whole reason an Escalade was used. When they were trying to, I could just picture this in the book, in the meeting room. Okay, we're gonna have Triple H and Norton, they're gonna have a vehicle out, and Daniel Bryan's gonna come out and he's gonna do something with, what vehicle should it be?
Could it be the Ford Fusion?
No.
Could it be the Buick Enclave?
No.
How about the Toyota Prius?
No.
No. How about the Chevy Silverado?
No.
No.
That isn't
How
work.
about the Cadillac Escalade?
Yes.
So yes on the Escalade?
The Yesclade?
That's what it was.
Oh.
The Escalade.
The Yesclade.
Hot dog, we got a wiener.
And that's how that was booked.
That's how it was booked. Yep. There you
So
go.
for all you poor folk that drive the Ford Escape, you can now call it the Yescape.
Wait a minute.
Yes! Yes! You got a Sharpie?
No.
I have an Escape. And Chris, I did not appreciate you spray painting yes all over the Escape.
It was a spray painted shoe polish. It'll come off in a couple of rainy days.
You said it last time. I didn't buy it then. I'm not buying it now.
You know what? That's what I didn't buy about all this, and that's why I was kind of disappointed with the Yesclade.
You kind of saw it coming?
Well, one, that I saw it coming, but two, I was expecting more to happen to it. I mean, all Daniel Bryan did was just spray paint yes all over it. It wasn't like completely destroyed. And Triple H and Orton were like freaking out. Oh, this was my vehicle. I can't believe he did this to my vehicle. It's ruined, blah, blah, blah. It's not ruined. That shit will just like buff out. And if it is that bad, all it is a paint job. It's not like he broke anything or destroyed anything. Like, they seem like they were more mad about that than some other vehicles that have been destroyed in the past, but there wasn't really anything much done to it. And we're talking about Triple H, the COO of the company, and, Randy Orton, who's been there forever. You're trying to tell me that they can't afford a new paint job? I mean, at most, it was a paint job that it cost him. Like, if he had, done the paint job.
Actually, Cadillac paint is exclusive and very expensive.
Well, I don't know, but do you see
Triple
what I'm
H
saying?
don't have a right to get mad. Didn't he paint the words DX on top of
This is
Vince
true.
McMahon's WWE Tower building and the plane
and
the
the jet?
limo?
Yeah.
He should know. Brian's thinking.
He jerry-rigged the limo to where once it took off, that axle would get ripped out.
I love the delivery. Brian goes, yes. Points at the hood. Comes around.
Yes.
Yes. And then he points, yes. Then tells the cameraman, come around, I got more. Yes. And then he tells the cameraman, there's more over here on this side.
But did you notice the words yes where they were getting bigger as they're going all the way across? Yeah. Little subtlety there. Yeah. But I liked it.
I liked the delivery, like you said. I thought the delivery was great, and it fit Daniel Bryan, but I just wanted to see more damage done to the vehicle to where it was like, okay, well, this is actually going to be a nuisance for somebody as loaded as Triple H. And if you're not going to do that, if you insist on having only it be the spray paint, then don't have Triple H be so irate over the fact that, I'm going to have to get this fixed. Like,
Triple H was more mad than Orton was.
Right, but what I'm saying is that he was mad for like the wrong thing. Like, he could have been mad just in the fact that he was annoyed and insulted, not mad like, they ruined my car. Like, cause it's not that big of an injury to the car, so to speak,
But because Triple H paid for it out of his own pocket, air quotations. That's why he was more upset about it.
Well, that's true, but still, even out of his own pocket, how much is a paint job going to cost as compared to...
Okay. All right. Well, we're discussing this in way too much depth here.
Okay.
The one thing I did want to say real quick here is that there's a comment that he said was, "This is my property. I just gave it to Orton," and then he points to the belt. "This is my title,
and I just gave it to Orton.
Orton's holding it for me."
Yeah.
Did that?
I caught that.
Okay.
I did catch that.
Y'all think there's something to that? Because Orton didn't do anything when he said that.
Yeah, Orton didn't sell that at all.
But I was like, what?
I wonder if that was like just some sort of weird ad lib that didn't come out right.
Probably.
Or if it was, foreshadowing of something else that'll happen in the story.
Like maybe Triple H is living vicariously through Orton or something, and that's going to come out later on or something.
And maybe Orton will realize it like, no, I'm the WWE champ. You're not the champ. You're just the guy that I gave the title to.
Yeah.
And that'll, start friction between
them. That is
them.
true. Triple H basically handed him, left it
Here's
open.
why I think I found out why you're not a big fan of the segment.
Okay.
It was Brian. If this was Punk, the gunmetal gray, the edgy face, the anti-hero, breaking the Escalade, flattening the tires, pissing all over it, that would elicit the reaction that you think Triple H should have given.
Yeah.
But since it's Daniel Bryan, he's now the guy that he has to play it low key. He's the one doing the subtle stuff, letting everything else around him make the statement for him. He couldn't go that route. He couldn't break the mold that he's made right now as being the underdog guy by all of a sudden being the one that breaks windows and keys it and does all this other stuff.
Like what Stone Cold used to do.
Or Stone Cold pouring cement inside the classic Corvette. So the way that the Bryan character is done, he can't really do too many things to cross that line.
Yeah.
And I think vandalism, legit hardcore vandalism to make Triple H that would deserve the reaction that Triple H made, I don't think it would have been pulled off. And I think that's why you're a little disappointed in that segment, because a lot more could have been done.
Yeah.
When Kofi did it to Orton's race car, NASCAR at the time, Kofi was breaking his character. He wasn't the Jamaican anymore. He already had his accent going on. He was already trying to step out of that mold and become something into the next level and wanted to get people's attention. So that's how he got on and started spilling the paint, which led to his incident at Madison Square Garden where he laid out Orton on that table and did his spot and had everybody. So
And WWE followed that by doing nothing.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I think that's why.
even with Kofi, it was just a can of paint, a bucket of paint that he poured all over the race car, and that's it. You know, it's a far cry from what we saw, you know, with the cement truck. Like, if somebody came up with a cement truck and put it in a Corvette, that Corvette is ruined. You can't restore it. You can't just clean the cement out of it. You can't, like, that thing is trashed. But if you pour paint on a hood of a car, you could get it repainted. If you spray paint Yeses all over an Yesclade, you could get it repainted, and the car is still good. That's what I'm saying the difference is. Like when Stone Cold dropped that I-beam on the DX Express bus, that bus was totaled. Like, he dropped a freaking steel I-beam on the bus and it exploded. You know, when DX put the chain underneath Vince's limo and it ripped off the back axle of the limo. You might be able to repair that, but it's still pretty darn ruined. A paint job? Come on. Really?
Steve Austin,
That's where
I-beam, tour bus, Steve Austin, anti-hero, attitude. DX, painting over the WWE Titan Tower, painting over the window, rigging the limo so it damaged. DX, attitude, anti-hero, edgy. Daniel Bryan, the character that he is right now, he's the underdog. He's the short guy. He's the hairy beard. He's the lovable kid. He's not edgy. He's not anti-hero. He's not attitude. So he can't try to copy that.
Right.
So the sole way to go.
I'm just saying that the visual was a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Because I was like expecting something really bad to happen in the car, and it was just spray paint. You know, and I understand that it kind of fits Daniel Bryan's character, and it's not the Attitude Era anymore, and you can't go too over the top. I get all that. Yeah. But if you can't do it all the way, then don't do it at all. That's what I'm trying to say. Because it just seemed like Triple H was making a mountain out of a molehill. And
that might have, and just like you said, that where he blurted that line that you thought might have been ad-lib that just came out wrong. Maybe Triple H just overdid it without knowing he overdid it. And that might have been the problem.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Well, we analyzed the hell out of that.
I try to get you off of it.
I know.
Let's overanalyze something else that I don't even think you wrote down.
Okay.
Segment of the week. As much as I loved the porno thingy with TNA,
okay.
The best story that was told this entire week was old ECW coming back to WWE with the caning of CM Punk.
Oh my goodness. Yes, you're right.
As much as just another example of how what Punk does in the ring shows more character and more emotion than the same best in the world I'm the man promos that he does every week.
Yeah.
That everything. Heyman, Axel, Punk, handcuffing, caning, Heyman screaming at Punk his real feelings about him and how he betrayed him in between the canings.
Yeah.
That was
epic. Heyman sold that beautifully. And the right before he came in for the first time, Punk saying "Make it count." That was
I forgot what movie he pulled it out of where he was handcuffed and he was on his knees and then he just hopped up and started fighting. I know I saw it in an action movie somewhere. And I have no idea where it came from. Mr. Jones Cola, thank you very much, asshole. But
Jones Soda, baby.
The entire thing, the match, after the match, the refs and the security's bringing Heyman back out because he was trying to leave.
Yeah.
Axel getting the upper hand. Punk didn't look beat up. He looked embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't try to do any facial expressions, no rebuttal. He just walked and he limped and he left. You could see the cuts, the bruises, everything.
Yeah, his back looked
Hats
all
off
messed
to
up.
that guy.
Yeah.
He sold that.
Well, I mean, we've been saying it. I mean, Punk and Heyman, there's stories that they can tell in that ring, outside the ring. It's
Punk and Heyman can bring divas into this story, and the divas would look good because Punk and Heyman are just rubbing that off on everybody. And
is this okay?
Just like you said, you know what? The whole thing, like when I first got here, that you jack off because Axel would be a face or whatever, or it would build Axel. This might have done it.
I don't remember what you're talking about at all.
Because he said, "Oh well, if Heyman's a face, then maybe will give Curtis Axel the rub, and Curtis Axel will be a good guy." And then I said, "Yeah," and all that stuff.
Okay,
this actually will.
That's what I'm saying. Is this going to benefit Axel also?
Well, hell, he's got a pay-per-view match at Night of Champions with Punk in a 2-on-1 handicap. I'm pretty sure.
Him and Heyman. So it's still going to be more about Heyman than it is Axel.
He's still there. He's still going to be in the graphic. He's still.
But nobody's going to want to see him in the ring with Punk, with Heyman right there in the ring apron. Everybody's going to see Punk get his hands on Heyman. They don't care about Axel in this thing.
Yeah, but Axel's going to do his job by teasing the crowd to make sure that you're going to get this close, and then no, and then it's going to get close, just like the entire match that we got last night on Raw. Like it was just good.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay,
awesome.
Before the end of the match, what'd you think of the match? Just straight up one-on-one, Punk and
I thought it was decent.
Yeah,
but I don't think it was match of the week candidate worthy.
No.
It was decent.
Is that because of Axel?
Maybe. And when Axel pre-match had the little backstage segment or whatever, and he was like, I can out wrestle CM Punk. I was like, yeah, right.
Everybody did that.
With the exception of the CM Punk Brock Lesnar match at SummerSlam. From the moment that from the moment Heyman turned his back on CM Punk at Money in the Bank, the promos have been better than the matches.
Yes.
Hands down.
And still are. Yeah.
And still are. With the exception of, obviously, Lesnar Punk, because it was fucking Lesnar Punk,
Yeah.
You know how that turned out. But everything post-match was better than anything during the match.
Yeah. It's not like botchamania out there. It's not like they're doing stuff wrong. It just was kind of, it felt a little limited. It didn't feel as fast-paced or as intense as it probably could have been for as much emotions going into the storyline. It's not really reflected that well in the match.
And you know why?
Why?
The stipulation. Punk wins, he gets Heyman.
Yeah.
Obviously, Punk's gonna win.
True.
So we had no, I guess, excitement for getting to the end of the match. We just wanted to get to the end of the match to get the Heyman.
But I'm pretty damn sure that you didn't expect what happened to happen.
Oh no, that's
why.
But that's a whole different thing, though. I'm just saying that's all we wanted to get to. We wanted to get to the end, so you could have,
all the everything before Punk getting his hands on Heyman was fluff.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's move on. Unless there's anything else you want to add to that.
No, hell no.
Okay.
I want to see what happens next week with them.
All right. I want to talk a little bit about Del Rio versus Rob Van Dam.
Oh, fuck me.
I was kind of kidding last week when I asked the question. Is Ricardo going to be the ring announcer for RVD?
Yeah, he is.
Wow.
I don't like it.
It does not fit.
It doesn't fit. I mean, we brought it up last week with the whole bacon ice cream thing that,
You got some slack on that, too.
Yeah, I did. I got some pushback on that.
I try to defend you, too.
People like bacon and ice cream, I guess. I don't know. I don't like it. Maybe a popcorn and ice cream would be a better...
You don't like popcorn?
Well, I don't like popcorn. Let's see.
But you like the popcorn. I got you.
Yeah, that was pretty good. The Flamin' Hot Cheetos popcorn. Who would have thunk it?
Chester's Flaming Hot Popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Anyway, Ricardo and RVD don't really go well together. Yeah, just drop it. But here's what I really want to talk about from that match. RVD beat Del Rio to become the number one contender to Del Rio's title.
Right.
Why is it with the World Heavyweight Championship, we're constantly getting the World Heavyweight Championship match before we get the World Heavyweight Championship match? That's what happened at this past pay-per-view where we had Christian versus Del Rio on SmackDown to build for Christian versus Del Rio at SummerSlam.
It's lazy booking.
It is lazy booking.
They're so focused. They're giving all their creative juices to Bryan and Triple H and Orton. SmackDown's like an afterthought.
In WWE's defense, it's SmackDown. That's where you test stuff. So if this was happening on Raw, I'd be hurting somebody.
It did happen on Raw.
No, if this was...
He's talking about the titles.
If this was the WWE title that they were doing this stuff on Raw, I'd be throwing a fit a mile long. This is the SmackDown related stuff going on. It deserves a little bit of a pass. That's not my biggest problem.
Okay, what's your biggest problem?
And I'm sad to say this because we were so looking forward to seeing him when he came to town. He's the reason why we went. I'm done with RVD. He's been hurting almost every single person in his matches since he's gotten here. Didn't he bust Del Rio's balls almost literally during this match? Almost hurt Del Rio.
Did he?
There was at least 4 moves that looked so bad. He whiffed them by at least a mile.
He was
punches he threw
was
that were
sloppy.
so lazy that he missed them by feet. at some point, if you don't got it no more, or if you're not gonna pull it out, gotta go. Especially if you're already hurting guys, if you're hurting Jericho, if you're busting Wade Barrett in the mouth, if you're hurting all these other guys, if you're gonna be a liability to somebody else, you gotta go.
Yeah.
And watching it last night was my realization that, you know what, the nostalgia kick, it was nice. Thank you for coming. Adios.
You know, I see what you mean with the whiffs, because I remember, like, towards the very beginning of that match.
He looked very sloppy off.
Yeah, he tried to do, like, some insecurity kick where Del Rio was on the apron and he jumped off of the turnbuckle to do a kick on him or something. And even JBL had to say, well, I don't think he really caught all of it, but it was enough to knock Del Rio out of the ring. So, yeah, I can see what you mean. You know, either he's whiffing it or he's hitting it too hard, you know, and he's hurting people. But I would like to think that RVD has enough experience and enough time in the ring that he can, that maybe they're just isolated incidences or off nights or something like that, and he could just kind of tighten it up and you know, get a little bit better. I'm still willing to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Since he's been back, it's been too many.
Think so?
Yeah.
I don't know what, you know, the situations were in the first ones. I think on this episode of Raw, I think he just had a bad night. But
And then to top it all off, do we really care if we're getting RVD versus Del Rio? Like, we didn't even know where Del Rio was going.
No,
I don't even care about Del Rio anymore.
We don't like the pairing of Ricardo and RVD. I want that RVD shirt. That's the only positive I can come out of that.
True.
But other than that, like, I'm not watching Night of Champions to watch Del Rio. I'm actually not looking forward to watching Night of Champions for RVD either.
Yeah.
So, like, where is this going? Like, now would be a perfect time to be saved by somebody that has a beautiful briefcase. That's all I'm saying. But other than that, next.
All right, next. You want to talk about Zeb Coulter a little bit?
Oh my god. As soon as that mustache floated out to the ring and I realized who was in the ring, I was crossing my fingers to figure out how far he was going to take it. And when he pointed to the ring at two black guys and dropped the line, if you can't feed them, don't breed them. Holy fuck. I was expecting black people to jump the rails and beat this guy to death.
I don't know.
And when he said that, I was like, okay, he's going to drop a gay reference or something.
I was expecting
he was going to drop something. You know,
that'd be too obvious, though.
Man.
They're keeping that separate for a reason.
Hashtag I don't give a Dutch. Like, I was waiting. This is why I like Coulter now. Like, he's got carte blanche. He'll make fun of anybody anytime. You know, I love the Del Rio, the sneaking across our borders, you know, all that stuff. But when he did that with them, I was paying very close attention.
I like Coulter now that he's not just focused on one wrestler. You know,
or race.
Yeah, it used to be just Del Rio, Mexicans, whatever. Now it's like anybody, even Americans, he'll just tear a new one.
I want to see Yoshitatsu get jobbed out and have Coulter rag on the Asians. You know? Or who else is left? Like have Wade Barrett get jobbed out and have Coulter come out and complain how the euro's lacking in weight compared to the dollar or whatever. Or how they're back. I don't care. Dude, Coulter, man, awesome.
You know, it seems as though he's just the crotchety old grandpa that just gets away with saying really terrible shit just
because he's old.
He's old.
He's dead
old.
already.
It's
He's
fine.
got a foot in the grave. Fuck
yeah, just let him. You know, whatever.
Yeah, we love him. Yeah, you bastard.
So it was really good, and even though it probably should have elicited a lot of heel heat, he probably got more face pop for some of the stuff he said just because it was so damn funny and so shocking that he said it.
It's so over the top. It's like you can't take it seriously. I mean,
exactly. But it's good. The way he's pulling it off, it's good. And hey, guess what? Primetime Players, you know, had another pretty good showing, you know, in that match. You know, after all that, Titus, he did pretty good there. I'm down with the Real Americans versus Primetime Players as being a pretty big deal tag team feud, maybe eventually leading towards tag team titles. Why the hell not? Yeah. I think it's pretty good.
I agree.
All right, let's talk about another pipe bomb.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Why are we talking about this already?
Yeah. AJ Lee. holy crap, out of nowhere, she comes out after, a typical Total Divas match, and she just has a mic and dresses down everyone. And
let's put it nicely. She tore them all a new asshole.
Verbally, yes. It was ridiculous, the stuff that she just went out there and said. And you know what? It was a heel promo. She was being a heel.
Was she?
But for the fact of some of the stuff that she said, she was right about it. And she said a lot of things that some of us may have been thinking. And it elicited
a face reaction.
It did. It got a
everybody
face
was agreeing
reaction.
with her. Yeah.
It got a face reaction, but it was a heel promo, a damn good heel promo, and it made the Divas title and the fact that she's the title holder seem important, and she basically told off all the Divas all at the same time and asserted herself as being the top of the mountain and the Queen Bee, and she did that all in one effing promo.
And in that, as much hate as she gave them, I think she just gave everybody credibility on that side with what she said.
A little bit.
I don't know about that one.
I think so.
I think
she just gave herself 6 new opponents.
True. Oh, okay. In that case, yeah. But,
so she's got a lot to do now.
One thing that did kind of piss me off about that promo, it wasn't having anything to do with her. It was the fact that they mic'd up the Bellas when they were bitching.
Yeah, when they were trying to scream back at her. Well, why did you do that? Like, okay,
they got that wrong. The heel chicks got that wrong. The faces got it right. Yeah. When they showed the shot of one of the Funkadactyls just dropping down her pom-pom in disgust, like, is she really saying this?
Yeah.
Like, they didn't have this plan, like, they made up for it.
The Bellas and What's-Her-Face, they're all just, being over the top.
Their name is Eva Marie.
Yeah. Their name is? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
The Bellas and Eva Marie.
Eva and Marie.
Uno y dos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They make a great pair.
Yeah. But that was my one complaint about it. But
yeah,
what else can you say? I mean,
they were acting like they were on Maury or something, where they were trying to talk over each other, and they were like, "Oh no, wait a minute, what do? You just skip and you and they're like, shut up." She's cutting a promo and she's doing a damn good job at it. Shut the hell up. I mean, I understand you want to react, but react when the reacting is appropriate. But yeah, you're right. That was the only thing that made that whole segment bad. After all this happened, where the hell is this going? Because obviously AJ can't fight all 6 of them.
Why not?
AJ on a 6-on-1 handicap match?
No, not at the same time. You did that.
Six-person Rumble. Winner gets a shot at AJ at Night of Champions.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Natalya, because Natalya was front and center during all that.
Yeah.
And she pointed out the fact that the whole family, all this stuff.
Being from the Heart Dungeon and all that. But then again, she was kind of calling out everyone.
Yeah.
Almost one by one.
But I think Natalya would be... Because still, technically, AJ's a heel. Technically.
Right.
Natalya is the only face...
Besides the Funkadactyls.
Well, I was going to say the legitimate wrestler face.
Okay.
Funkadactyls don't have that much...
I would say Natalya, then Naomi.
Yeah, Naomi.
And then Cameron way down here.
Way down, yeah. And the other side, Nikki's still hurt, and Eva can't wrestle, so you got Brie. That's why Brie's been wrestling everybody.
Yeah.
So it's going to be either Natalya or Brie, depending on where... Or one week after another, they'll be both of them. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's funny that everybody was saying that... comparing her to CM Punk, which I definitely understand. It was a pipe bomb that she laid out there.
It was.
But her delivery, the way she was...
Very Paul Heyman-esque.
Heyman-esque. Well, I was going to say, it was very reminiscent of the way that Ziggler would deliver his promos.
Yeah. Okay.
Did y'all get... I was thinking in the back of my head. You see what I'm saying on this?
Now that you mentioned his name, I didn't even think of his name.
The delivery of some of the way she was just talking, throwing these sentences out. It was just. I was like, man, that's what Ziggler. The swagger they would have in
some of the mannerisms.
Yes, in his tone. In her tone. It was
kind of condescending a little.
Yeah, and very confident on her part. And that's the way Ziggler was.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking maybe, that kind of, she was with him for a while. Maybe that just kind of rubbed off on her, but definitely whatever happened, whoever, she channeled when she did that promo.
Hats off to her.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And, honestly, I can't think of when the last time a diva cut an awesome promo to the point where, we would be talking about it the next day. Like, oh man, did you see that on Raw?
Yeah, even
when was the last time that happened?
Even back in the day of Trish and Lita, their matches were awesome, but what was the last good promo they had?
Yeah, exactly. Like, they've never been known that much for their promo skills. So this was really good, really refreshing, really unexpected and surprising. Everything that's good about wrestling happened in that promo, So I want to see more of it. I'm intrigued. I'm interested. It brings more legitimacy to the Divas division and the Divas title, which, we've been saying this about the show Total Divas, that is putting the Divas division in more prominence. But we've also been saying, while you have all the stuff going on with the Funkadactyls and the Bellas and all this and that, and all the Total Divas, they weren't focusing on Caitlyn versus AJ, who was the actual, title holder and number one contender, and there was always that little bit of a disconnect. After this promo, there's no longer that disconnect.
Everything's merged together.
It's starting to merge together, and now this show is starting to help the Divas division even more directly. And if it's going to be like the Total Divas versus AJ and the real Divas, so to speak, let's say,
AJ's the only one.
Yeah, she could be, yeah. Unless, like, someone else got recruited over or whatever. But for right now, yeah, AJ's the only one.
Maybe Paige, maybe. But...
Yeah, something like that. But, if it could turn into something of that nature, then that'd be pretty interesting,
My biggest concern with that is the fact that they've already recorded so many episodes of Total Divas. It's so delayed and they're so far back.
Yeah.
You say it kind of merged them all together. I don't think so. You're still going to have...
Well, not yet.
You're still going to have Total Divas doing their thing on their show, and it's not going to have anything to do with what the current product is right now.
It's basically just the worlds colliding.
Yeah.
Of the two. Not necessarily the time frame or anything, but just the fact that both sides are an acknowledgement that the other side exists.
Yeah.
One side is.
Yeah.
So once it starts to get... If they can't update the schedule for that.
That's what needs to happen on either SmackDown or on the next Raw, where Natalya or Nikki and Bella, Nikki and Brie, are like backstage, or hell, maybe even out in the ring, and go out there and they're like, oh, AJ's just jealous because she couldn't get on the show because, she's, stupid, or whatever they say, whatever the reasoning is, and they just start talking smack, and then start acknowledging, from the Total Diva side, start acknowledging the regular Diva side, and acknowledging the stuff with AJ, and then that's where we'll get, finally, the worlds colliding, like Chris is saying.
See, that, what you just said right there, with them talking about that needs to happen on Total Divas, but you can't do that because it's...
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to happen on Total Divas, the show. It could happen just on Raw or SmackDown and have the Total Divas do it. That was a lot of alliteration there.
Would have been better if you did it right, but okay.
Yeah, I know.
So, I think we're just kind of on a whole disconnect on what we're saying here. Because that's just me, It
is you.
Who asked you?
All right. Is that it for wrestling talk for this week? All right. Let's move on to some other exciting things. As we promised you earlier in this episode, we have a special guest interview. So we can go ahead and get on into that. Shall we?
We shall.
All right, let's get to it. Alright everyone, here we are again with another very, very special guest here today. I'm pretty excited about it.
Oh yes.
A new entry for the Clutch City Productions SuperShow that's going to be going on this weekend is just announced. He is a 5-time WCW Tag Team Champion. He is Buff, Tough, and the Stuff. He is none other than Buff Bagwell. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Wow. Thank you guys for having me so much. I appreciate that. But to hear that, let's just be honest. WCW, WWF, WWE, TNA, XWF, Superstar. You've got them all out of you, brother. And this is a big deal. I mean, forget if you like me or not. I don't care if you like me or not. I'm a star, and I've been there and done that. and I can talk about it. So it's a great interview, and we're going to make a great interview. So let's do it.
Oh, man, yeah. Fasten up your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen. This one's going to be a fun one, I bet. All right, well, I want to get to know you a little bit here. Let's break the ice, kind of, see where you're coming from. Being the fact that, you've been around wrestling for a while, I'd like to know, how did you first get into it? How did you start getting into wrestling?
Believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this, but I was a licensed massage therapist. I went to the Atlanta School of Massage when I was 18. My parents were very wealthy when I was growing up, and they went bankrupt in 88, my senior year. And so we were like, what am I going to do? So I thought maybe sports medicine. I like sports and all that. So, something to do with sport-related things. Long story short, I went to massage therapy school, and it was 9 months, 8 to 4, extremely hard. College like level anatomy physiology course, which is hard as heck. And I passed it all, bust my butt, got it done, and found out that it is a girl with no pets, gay-looking guy that makes money in wrestling. In massage. Because women would literally walk in and see me and cancel. And I thought me and shape and get her on my body and all that stuff, I thought it would work. But it didn't. Women just totally just... So finally, I keep in mind, I spent $5,000 in 9 months. So I wanted to know. I didn't want to waste my money or time. I go, tell me what it is. And they would say, my husband would kill me all the way to, I may have some fat on my back used to be, and it's just, they don't want to go to them massaging them because then they feel like they're getting picked apart, which I understood. I essentially would have told me a lot earlier instead of 9 months. In the middle of all that, Missy Hyatt, I was away at a pool one day at a place called Poplar Place Apartments. And Missy Hyatt saw me. I saw a blonde with big boobs across the pool. That's all I saw. And I was married, no big deal. And I went back to my apartment. And I still got a good memory. I don't know why I do, but I do. I lived in 1501, and she was 1502, directly across door to door. And so that night, she knocked on the door, and me and my wife, the first wife, let her in. And she's like, hey, I just want to tell myself, I actually told the client, the agent, to move me in to wherever that guy lived. And she said, then I find out you're married, so I'm embarrassed, and that's why I'm telling the truth. But she was a little bit cocky, like, you guys know who I am, right? I go, I got no idea who you are. So she was like, listen to that. So he took all my money, and that's when she goes, well, there's no money in that. She said, all those things now makes $100,000 a year. And I went, let's talk about this one time. So, long story short, I went to school, didn't like it, it was hard as I ever did. That was still back in the day of breaking me in the right way, old school way and all that. Didn't like it, stuck with it, and here I am,
Well, I'm glad that you did stick with it, because if you hadn't, then we would have never seen some of the great stuff that you did during your whole career there. One thing that really does stick out to me is just the amount of tag teams that you've been in. You were in Stars and Stripes with the Patriots. You were in American Males, with Scotty Riggs. Also, with Scott Norton, who's also going to be at the show, this Sunday. So we'll have a little bit of Saturday. So we'll have a little bit of a reunion there. Let me ask you this. Did you, want to, or did you prefer doing tags instead of singles wrestling?
They put me there first, but because there was just so many guys fighting for that world championship, you know, and there wasn't a lot of talent that was fighting for the tag team belts. So once they put me in there, and once I learned it, I really loved tag team wrestling, and that's why it goes overlooked, and that's okay. I don't care, but the fact is, it does go overlooked. I was world tag team champion 5 times with 5 different partners.
Wow.
That's a big deal, man. And it gets overlooked big time. And that's okay. But I'm just saying, these are the things that I think shouldn't get overlooked. I mean, Two Cold Scorpio was my first, and Dale Wilkes was my second. They're complete opposites. I had to adapt to each one of them to make a world champion. And so, long story short, blowing my own horn, 5 times, 5 different partners, 5 champions. And that's been a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that is a pretty big deal, and that is rather unprecedented. And I think it's interesting that you're saying that you did enjoy that. Another aspect of your career is being a part of one of the biggest factions in all of wrestling, which was the New World Order, NWO. What was it like during that time being a part of the NWO?
Oh my God, that's so hard to explain. Except, it was like getting asked to be in the mob or being on a Super Bowl team that you knew was going to win. It was just the best, you know. So, but once I did that, it was not holding me back. I loved it, and credit Buff, and the rest is history. But I really enjoyed all that time, and wouldn't give it back for anything in the world.
Cool, man. And it was a very enjoyable time for us as wrestling fans, growing up watching it. It was one of the, better, crazier things that happened during that time period. And I think it's going to be really cool that we're going to have pretty much an NWO reunion here this weekend. We're going to have Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, X-Pac, yourself, and then one of your former tag team partners, Scott Norton. I think it's just going to be freaking great seeing you guys all back together again. Bringing the band back together, so to speak.
Yeah, I think it's real cool too, and I'm glad we're able to do it. And like I said, we got along with all these guys. We were like a family, and it meant a lot to us. And I'm glad we had a great product, a great platform that built it on. So I built up on it, and Nash built his character on it, and Scott Hall built his on it, and X-Pac did, and it was a great, great platform to give us, and we had a blast.
Yeah, that was a really cool time. But let me ask you something else. Was there any other wrestler that you didn't get a chance to wrestle that you would have liked to, whether it be past, present, or just during that time period that was maybe just in a different company?
Absolutely not. People ask me a lot of times what my favorite match was. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? I mean, there's no way to guess that. The only thing I can tell you is the favorite time of my wrestling career is NWO.
There you go.
There's no way to pick as many great matches I was in, as many great matches they gave me a chance to be in, and I was very humbled to be in them, and I was. I was able to be in those top matches,
Buff, one of the storylines that you're a part of, that I remember you from was, during the NWO, there was a pretty big storyline involving you, when you had that very serious, neck injury. And, that, they kind of turned that into a storyline. Can you tell us just a little bit about, how that came about as far as them turning that into a storyline?
Well, actually, believe it or not, it didn't turn into near the storyline I wanted it to. I broke my neck on national television, and Eric said he felt like it was bad karma to have I say, Eric, you need to have a camera up here right now on me. I said, showing my comeback, y'all edit it, he goes, no, that's bad karma, that's bad karma. So I couldn't get him to do it. But about 3 months later, I remember seeing Triple H his quad and the video package they had of him training his quads and making it back was like he broke his neck. And he didn't. And I broke my neck. And I couldn't get there to put a camera up there. There's no footage of that whatsoever. So I just happened to come back and was in shape and made it back, But long story short, Eric did a good job of keeping us together, me and Scotty. And I knew Scotty, how to put him over and not step on his toes. At the same time, I got myself over. And so it was a good time, man.
Well, speaking of injuries, we did see, a little while back that you were in a car accident. How are you feeling, man? Are you good?
I've only been 100% about 4 or 5 months. It was April of last year, and listen to this. It was on the exact same day as me breaking my neck the first time.
Really?
Wow.
14 years apart. April 21st, this is stuff I can't make up. April 21st, 1998. April 21st, 2012, I break my neck again.
Wow.
Man.
Wow.
So, April 21st ain't good. I'm going to start bubble wrapping myself in April.
Well, that's cool that,
Bubble wrap on me.
well, that's cool that, you got a full, clean bill of health from that. That was a very serious accident, but,
and I've been wrestling for about 8, and I just thought I was old, because I was hurting so bad. Well, I kept training, kept going at it like Buff does, and I finally realized I wasn't old. It was basically, I just wasn't healed. And then once I got healed, I really started coming back,
Okay.
Nice. Well, I'm glad that you're recovered. I'm glad that you're still with us. Neck injuries, they're no joke. Car crashes, they're no joke. I really look forward to meeting you this weekend. You're going to be here as part of the Clutch City Productions SuperShow. Let me ask you, what are you going to be doing there? Do you have 8x10s? You're going to be selling any type of merch? Or are you just signing autographs, just taking pictures?
Yeah, I got a big bag of merch. I always been with me that's cool, that nobody has, and something different. I always got a bag with me. And whatever they ask me to do, also on top of that, I'll do. But I'm down to earth. I love this business. I love talking to fans, and so it's going to be a real good time.
Awesome. I look forward to it, man. And, hopefully we'll get to meet up, chat, and meet in person. Maybe get to shake your hand or something.
Please walk up and meet me. I'd love to meet you.
All right, man. Thanks so much for coming on our show. I consider it a great honor, and we'll see you soon.
Hey, I appreciate it. Remember, if you need me, go to therealbuff.com. That's our website. My website is therealbuff.com. That cell phone number on there is not fake. It is my direct line. And I'm easy to get in touch with because I do business and I'm straight up. So give me a call at your convenience, and whether you want to talk about wrestling or whether you want to book me. But that's how to get in touch with me, therealbuff.com.
Awesome, therealbuff.com. We'll definitely check it out. Do you also have a Twitter?
I saw Goldberg about 2 weeks ago at the show, and he was just blowing he is anti-computer. But he was blowing the Twitter thing up. He's all excited about it. So I'm going to give it a go. I tried the MySpace, and then it just became ridiculous trouble for no money. And Facebook, I didn't even try because I know the deal. I got 26 Facebooks, and none of them are me.
Okay, you heard it here. None of those Facebooks are Buff Bagwell, so go unlike them all.
All understand that. They walk up and say, well, why are we talking on your, on your Facebook? And I said, that's not me. And the fans, they're like, what do you mean that's not you? They think that hear the internet, it's gospel. But it's not. So, there's 5 of the 26 that right now you go talk to, they tie back like they're me.
It's messed up.
That is pretty crazy. Well, hopefully we'll get some of those people to kind of turn around and realize that it ain't you, man. But you could go to therealbuff.com and that will get you straight to Buff Bagwell.
That sounds great, man. Hey, thanks a lot for having me on the show, guys.
Thanks.
Have a good one.
Alright, so there we go, guys. Another interview in the books. Buff Bagwell, man.
Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it? That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
That was interesting.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you were quiet over there the whole time, Chris.
I was just enjoying the listening pleasure. And I'm sure I'm not the only one out there.
Yeah. Chris, this guy. So yeah, it was kind of a last minute addition that Buff Bagwell is going to be.
Clutch City, Clutch City, Clutch City.
Thank you, Chris. He's got added to the Clutch City Productions SuperShow there, so it's pretty cool.
I think we got that brainwashed into Chris's head. So anytime we just mention that, he's gonna say
4 games into the Rocket season, I would be like, Clutch City, Clutch City, Clutch City. Eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. Clutch City, Clutch City, Clutch City.
So let's review here real quick. We are going to have on Saturday. That's when all the wrestling peoples are going to be there at this show. Right? Yes. Let's start off. Let's go by category. First off, we have the category of TNA wrestlers. There's going to be some TNA wrestlers there. We're going to have. Shut up, Chris. We're going to have Robbie E. We're going to have Super Mex Hernandez, who we interviewed a couple of weeks ago, so you can check out that interview on our old episodes there, as well as on our YouTube page, so check that out. And then also, of course, your favorite, Chris, Ms. Tessmacher.
Oh, Clutch City, baby.
So come out, meet those...
I'm getting kind of worried about Chris showing up on the show now.
Oh, I know. Jeez, he's going to make a fool of us all.
Maybe we should, warn her before he gets there.
I will make sure I have my Houston Wrestling Radio shirt worn and ready for the complete embarrassment.
Oh, jeez.
Well, at least you'll be wearing clothes. That's more than what I thought you were going to be doing.
That's all I'm going to be wearing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, jeez.
I'm at my flag at full mast.
Oh,
baby.
Jesus.
All right. Giggity, giggity, goo. Clutch City!
Okay, Chris, calm down. Jesus. Try to have a show here, and then you got this guy. All right, so that's TNA people, but we're also going to have some WWE legends in the house.
Yes, sir.
Tito Santana, who
Chico.
We interviewed him a few weeks before. 3 weeks ago, is that what it was? 3 episodes ago?
We're all pals with him now.
Yeah. So you could go and check that out, our old interview on our website there, and also on YouTube. So you can listen to that. And then of course we're also going to have Greg the Hammer Valentine and Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I almost said Beefcake. I can't talk now. So yeah, some WWE legends. That's pretty cool. Some throwbacks, from the past, and they're going to be there signing autographs and meeting people. Mm-hmm. But we also have the Wolfpack, NWO. They're reuniting, and we are going to have Buff Bagwell, whom we just interviewed. You just heard that a few minutes ago, so that's pretty cool. We're also going to have one of his former tag team partners, Scott Norton, at the show.
Or Vicious, as he's known in the tag team.
Right, yes, Vicious. And then we also have Six, or X-Pac, 1-2-3 Kid, Lightning Kid, Sean Waltman, whatever you want to call that guy. Him, he's going to be there. As well as Ayo, the bad guy, Razor Ramon. Well, Scott Hall. NWO time, he was Scott Hall. And
yes, Abel, we know this.
And then the big man himself, Kevin Nash. that's a pretty loaded card for wrestlers there. Oh, you know what? I left somebody out.
Robbie E.
Well, no, I mentioned him. I forgot Miss Jackie.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another one there.
Chris won't forget her at the
Chris
show.
won't forget her at all.
He'll make up for it at the show, I'm sure.
Yeah, she makes a great pair.
Yes. So, well, I guess would you consider her a WWE Legends? Or she was there in the NWO and she wasn't in TNA.
Are you alright, Travis?
I'm waiting for you to finish, man. Come on.
Finish.
I don't know. You're making noises over here. I don't know.
No.
All right, legend.
Do you call her a legend?
Are
WWE
you?
Legend? All right, we'll throw her in that category. Why the hell not? So there you go. That's a good dozen. That's 12 wrestlers, right? From my count. Yeah, that's a full dozen. The dirty dozen. That's what we'll call them. So there we go.
Let's double check that math.
Yeah, well,
The Steiner math over there.
Steiner math. Scott Steiner will not be here at this convention.
No, because 2 + 2 makes F.
Yes. All right, so
So
that
basically,
right there.
there's a loaded card for the show.
Yes, that's
should all
the
be
loaded
there
card.
for the
That's going to be on the 31st. That's Saturday. But this is a 2-day convention. There's going to be some stuff going on there on Sunday. Also, we have Riddick Bowe, former boxing world champ, and interesting thing about Riddick Bowe, I saw on Twitter. That he's been on there talking about how he wants to become a professional wrestler. And he's been tweeting at Tommy Dreamer and several other different people, just talking about him wanting to become a professional wrestler. So I think that's pretty cool. If we get a chance to go over and talk to him, I might ask him a thing or two about that and see what he has to say.
Investigate the matter here.
And yes, investigative journalism.
Yes.
That's
all you able.
Yeah, that's what we're
I'll
gonna
be
do.
at our table. You just
Right.
do your own thing. Yeah.
So, you guys can come out here and meet him and, go tell him hi. And, if you get an autograph, you might get an autograph for a future WWE champion. Who knows? All right. And, we have another boxing celebrity who's going to be there. Marlene Esparza.
Yes.
Yeah, she is a Pasadena native.
Yes.
From Pasadena, went on to the Olympics, won a bronze medal there. So that's pretty cool. Go out there, get to meet her, get an autograph, talk to her. That's a, good opportunity there.
Bring the body issue. Get her autograph that.
Yeah, get her autograph that. Mm-hmm. Chris, stop.
He's got a grin from ear to ear, man.
For her to punch me in the face.
If you keep acting like that, she'll probably punch you for free.
Yes!
And
That's his
then,
goal.
on top of that, we're going to have another female boxer, Mia St. John, who's also been on the cover of Playboy before. So
Get that autograph too.
yeah, there you go. At the same time.
Ooh, 2 at the same time. Chris's head just exploded.
And for people out there who were fond of the Houston Rockets when they were out there winning championships, Mario Elie is going to be there. He was on both of those teams for both of those years, the championship winning teams, 94 and 95. Yep. So that's pretty cool. Also, we're going to have original Texan Seth Payne. And he's also radio personalities for Sports Radio 610. He's on one of the midday shows there. So I hear him on the radio all the time. So maybe I'll go up there and talk to him. Ask him for a few pointers. See how we can improve our show.
Many pointers.
Many pointers, yes, indeed. And then also we're going to have a former Astro, Terry Poole, I believe was his name. And, there's also Haywood Jeffries, former Houston Oiler.
Yes.
So, cool. And, there's going to be a lot more people that I'm not naming off just because I suck at research. But it's going to be a good show. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people there to see. On top of all these celebrities that are going to be signing autographs, we're going to be there. We're going to have a booth. We mentioned it on the show last week that we were going to do a tournament for No Mercy on the Nintendo 64. Well, hey, guess what? That just doubled. We're going to have 2 TVs with 2 Nintendo 64s. We're going to have a copy of No Mercy, a copy of WCW vs. NWO Revenge. We're going to be doing giveaways and little tournaments for that. So however many people we get to sign up, that's how big of a tournament we'll have. So if we just have 4 people, we'll do a little 4-person tournament. If we have 16 people, we'll do a big-ass 16-person tournament. We'll do whatever we can do with whoever we can.
If we only have 1 person, we'll make sure to put the computer on hard.
Right. So, come up to our booth. Come say hi. If you listen to our show, that's great. Let us know. We would like to, meet some of our fans, get a little bit of feedback. And hopefully we'll run into some people that maybe haven't listened to our show and we get to, talk to them a little bit.
Which is everyone.
Right. And we're also going to take our recording equipment with us. So, document some of the cool things that are happening at the show. We might even talk to, a few people while we're there and maybe answer a few of your questions. Speaking of questions, we're also going to be doing a little bit of trivia questions while we're there, kind of maybe in between the tournaments here and there, just kind of bust out a couple of, multiple choice type, trivia questions. And there's probably going to be some prizes for some of the lucky winners involved of various trivia questions and tournaments and whatnot. We mentioned on the show last week that we are going to have a autographed figure of Rob Van Dam. That's from Chris's personal collection. So thank you, Chris, for donating that. We also going to have a sealed copy of ECW One Night Stand that we're going to be giving away. And we're going to have several other things, a couple of other surprises, so to speak, that are going to be in store. So make sure you come on out and come say hi to us at our booth. Of course, since this is a convention, there's also going to be other like vendors and stuff, selling things and whatnot. I just got done talking with the promoter from Clutch City Productions, and he said that they're going to have autographs, 8x10s, and photos that they're going to be selling, and their own merch that they have acquired throughout the years of them being around or whatever. So there's going to be stuff for you to do and things for you to buy, as well as meeting and greeting and getting autographs with all the guests and wrestlers and, sports people that are going to be there. So it's going to be a great time. Now, as far as admission goes, it's just $5 to get in the door. And then, once you get in, some of the different wrestlers will probably be charging different things. Some wrestlers will be signing for free. For example, Robbie E., he's going to be doing, free autographs. But some of the other wrestlers you do have to pay for. So there are, VIP tickets that are still available. You can still buy them online at ClutchCityProductions.com. VIP packages and, autograph packages for different wrestlers. Most notably, there's one, VIP package for the Wolfpack where you get autographs and meet and greets for, Hall, Nash, and X-Pac. And also one of the benefits of doing the VIP package is that you get to go to the front of the line in front of everybody else. You lucky bastards if you get to do that. So that'd be great. Make sure you go on there. Try to, go ahead and take care of that early before things sell out. Also, if you plan on, going to the show, make sure that you take cash because it seems as though that they're not going to be having, a whole lot of, places where we could, take debit cards, especially with the different wrestlers that are going to be signing and different sports people that are going to be signing. Not everybody is going to be at a setup where they're going to be taking debit cards. So this is probably going to be a very cash heavy event. So make sure that you do that. But try to get there, as early as you can. The doors will open at 10. So go ahead, show up, and then come meet us, meet the wrestlers, meet the sports people, buy some merch, have a good time, and come play at our tournament, and it's gonna be great.
You're gonna say, come play with us.
Come play with us. Come play with Chris. Yeah, after he meets Tessmacher.
Oh my god.
Did we say where it's at?
The Pasadena Convention Center. That's where it's gonna be at, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, Pasadena Convention Center.
From 10 to 5.
10
Saturday,
to 5.
both days.
On both days, Saturday and Sunday. So, if you're out down here in this area, there's no reason for you not to go. It's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yes, sir.
It better be.
It will.
We'll do our best to make it.
Yes. I'm really excited for this show. I'm pumped. I could tell, Travis is somewhat excited, and Chris as well, being an asshole. But I'm excited, damn it. So come out there and say hi to me. I'll make sure I'll be friendly to you. I can't guarantee anything for these two guys. They're probably just going to be assholes.
I can guarantee that I'm going to be myself.
Fair warning.
That's not a good thing, Chris.
We're trying to attract visitors to our
Yes, we are. So, tell your friends, and we
There
look
will
forward
be
to it.
visitors. They will be coming with handcuffs and batons and badges.
What are you going to be doing over there, man? Jeez.
And have our boss man impersonations, apparently.
All right. So that's that. Anything else that we need to talk about before we wrap up the show for today, guys?
Nope.
I think that's it.
That's it. I'm pumped, ready to see you guys out there. Ready to.
I'm waiting to see how this is going to turn out. You know.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We didn't ask you, Chris.
Yeah,
well, I'm telling you.
All right. There we go. That was our go home show for this convention here. We will have probably some stuff that we have recorded, some other things, probably splice into the show next week, or we'll probably throw some stuff on YouTube. Either way, within the next week here, expect a lot of information to be coming out of our Twitter and our Facebook and updates and stuff on how the convention's going.
Or I might even be able to be in it if you show up.
Exactly. Might even get you to record a little something for us. So that's pretty cool, man. For this week, that's going to be all. Thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. Hope to see you at the show. Adios, my friends. Keep it classy.
Toodles.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good,
It
though.
could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!